You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 110, The Betterer Letterer.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that if you die in the podcast, you die in real life. My name is Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
I'm Raven Perez.
We welcome you again to another episode of the Savage FINcast, the internet's only podcast dedicated to the works of Erik Larsen and his seminal comic, Savage Dragon.
Ooh, seminal. Sexy.
I hope that word means what I think it means.
As of and relating to semen. Just kidding, that's not what it means.
Inseminolate.
Artificially inseminate. Off to a great start.
Yes, so we are here to talk about issue 260 of Savage Dragon in a few months coming. Been looking forward to it for a long time, despite a few public road bumps along the way. But before that, we got some news.
News and potatoes.
All right, let's kick it off. The first little tidbit, which directly relates to this FINcast, is that there are two versions of 260, which we didn't know until weeks ago, I think. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, every issue has two covers, kind of the modern cover with the Savage Dragon title, and then the retro cover that's got the Image Comics Presents banner and just more of that retro feel. But with this one, we've got two different letterers. We have Rus Wooton on the modern cover doing letters for the interiors, and we have Jack Morelli on the retro cover issue. So if you're not buying both covers, you might want to think about it for this issue just to have fun comparing the two lettering styles. And as most people who are probably listening to this, heard our last FINcast, know the whole story behind that with Farron Delgado bowing out. And so it seems like this was kind of a real quick kind of get somebody on, and maybe I think Erik was trying them both out. I'm not sure if he told them ahead of time that, you know, there were going to be two different versions and they were trying out, but we can talk to him about that maybe on a future FINcast. But here we are. We've got Rus Wooton, who most people would know does most of Kirkman's books, Robert Kirkman's books. He did do a short stint on Savage Dragon at one point. And Jack Morelli, who's done a lot of different books. He, I guess, is pretty well known for his Afterlife with Archie series that he did, but he's done a lot of Marvel and DC, and apparently John Byrne's digital lettering that he uses is based on Jack Morelli's lettering. So
cool. Something
I didn't know until I looked it up, but I'm sure, you know, on this FINcast we'll be comparing the two styles. It's gonna be fun to look at both of these and pick out what we like or don't like.
He says fun. I say it's going to be a goddamn bloodbath. Just kidding. Thank you, Craig. On our second news item, kind of shocking, buckled the fuck up. Erik stated in a comment replying on the Facebook group that is the Erik Larsen Savage Dragon Facebook group that 260 involved so much writer's block. The creation was such a challenge that there were days where he seriously thought 259 was going to be the last issue of Savage Dragon. That's shocking.
It's chilling.
Chilling to the bone. Yeah, in the man's own words, just to give you a little verbatim, don't want to paraphrase if we can, he says, I've been lucky over the years to have never had a serious bout with writer's or artist block, and I really got hit hard with that. I was struggling to produce even a page every few days, and it took a long, long time to get through that. It was made worse by having to find a new letterer in the midst of it all. There were days when I thought 259 might just be my last issue. Fellas.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just want to say, in light of Gold Digger, the only other true contender to the crown in my book, the 300-issue crown, in light of the news of Gold Digger announcing that they are going to stop at 300, it would have been, frankly, shocking for Savage Dragon to stop at 259. It would be like as if I feel like it would have been like the curse of Dave Sim. You know what I mean?
I feel like even if Erik wanted to stop, he would close it up. Like I don't feel like he would kind of wind it down or come to at least an end of an arc and not just end it like suddenly, you know?
Well, I mean, the thing though is what's different is that it's not like he was tired and just wasn't feeling it. Yeah. Writer's block is like just the creativity doesn't flow, and so it's kind of like it's a little bit different than the will to continue. It's like literally you just fucking can't. And just speaking from experience, you know, I'm real lucky to never have any like serious writer's block either, but I can have it in tiny small doses. And I joke about it, I call it being puckered up. It's like when you're puckered up, nothing's coming out. It's just not gonna. You're just not gonna produce. You have to walk away because literally trying harder will only make shit worse. And so, yeah, I don't know, Craig, what the fuck would happen if
it's crazy. We'll get into it, but I feel like this issue, like there was no sense of like him having a problem writing it. Like I thought it was a great issue. You know,
Agreed.
We'll get into that, but
agreed. Had he not said that, we'd never know, right?
That's how I feel.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Woo. So that's it. That's all the news that's fit to print.
So we got some emails. First one coming in says, Bros, I'm totally cool with Erik doing Ant number 12 prior to issue number 1, as it's a nice way of showing respect to the past creator, series, and fans. It recognizes continuity, ties up loose plot ends, and is a nice springboard into the new ongoing series. I think Erik did the same thing with an existing Supreme series over a decade ago, and it went over pretty well. By the way, Ant number 12 is a solid book, being unfamiliar with the character as my only exposure to her was in the pages of Savage Dragon. There was enough in the comic to pique my interest, and I was digging Erik's less detailed, more animated art style. So yes, I'll definitely be buying Ant number 1, as I do find the character appealing, and having Erik on writing and art duties is a definite draw. However, seeing as how Savage Dragon output has been already taken a hit in 2021, I'd prefer if Erik gets another artist to work on the book. I'm looking at you, Raven. Assuming sales of the book take off. Last cast was a great one. Looking forward to those new retros. Peace, Tony M. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
Real quick, about just to follow up the comment about Supreme. The thing about Supreme was, yes, it was a continuation. I think the little asterisk on that, though, is that Erik actually had an Alan Moore script to actually work off of for that last Alan Moore issue. Mm-hmm. And I think it just made more sense there to continue the series from that point, since Erik's was a direct continuation of that story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a similar situation in Ant's case, but he is going back and starting it over again at another issue number 1, so that is, his plan, unlike Supreme, where that was not his plan.
So he didn't plan to start supreme over, is what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, because...
Okay, cool.
Because
Yep.
Moore left his series on a cliffhanger.
Right,
And Erik
yes,
was
yeah.
going to follow up that cliffhanger with his, a continuation. It was not
Mm-hmm.
going to be necessarily a fresh start.
Okay, cool. I'm on the same page.
Whereas Ant, depending on how Erik goes about it, may or may not be a fresh start. It's hard, based on some of the stuff we read in the back matter of issue 12. Yeah, I'm not totally sure what his actual plan is. It's going to be really interesting to see. How
I'll simply add that if I, through some disaster, wound up the artist on Ant, priority number 1, I'm bringing back butts.
Yeah, the butt kind of disappeared a little bit.
I'm bringing the butts back.
much like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Raven absolutely cannot lie about this.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag Ant got back.
Yeah.
Go on to the next letter?
Yeah, let's go on to the next one.
All right. Next letter is from Ron Ruvalcaba, who writes, "Hey fellas, love the show. I've been slowly making my way through the FINcast back catalog, and I gotta say, you guys are doing a great job of spreading the good word of Savage Dragon. The new episode about issues 10 and 11 continue to deliver the goods. I do feel like you missed out on a great gimmick for this episode.
Ooh.
Not sure how technical you guys could get with the show, but you totally should have added cartoon sound effects to bleep out any swearing to mimic Jimbo's cartoon swears in the comic. Oh well, missed opportunities and all. I was also kind of shocked that you guys forgot the name of the legendary James Quinton Manning. He was the former Finhead who won the Get Your Ass Kicked by Savage Dragon contest. I know he only showed up in one panel, but to be fair, that was a pretty legendary panel.
True.
I'm also not sure if anyone noticed the Cyberforce Easter egg in the background of the Jimbo fight either, but I'm not going to say what it was. I'll let you guys ruminate over it.
I do
Lastly,
like rumination.
Lastly, the pinup in the back of issue 11 was in fact drawn by Jason Pearson along with Carl Story.
Nice.
Anyway, just wanted to say I can't wait for the next show, and I can't wait till Erik's schedule stabilizes and we get double doses with Ant and Savage Dragon every month-ish. Till next time, make mine Larsen. Juan.
It's funny I didn't really know James Quinton Manning's name, because it's 2/3 of my name.
Your middle name's Quentin?
It sure is, Raven. It sure is.
Oh my
That's pretty wild.
God, dude, that's wild. That makes.
How did you not know that then? Because we had definitely talked about it, and we talked about how he appeared on the FINcast fan page, and we just couldn't remember his name.
That makes forgetting it that much crazier, dude.
So, Juan Ruvalcaba is pretty well known, I think, with Finhead fans. I mean, he's been around forever. The guy is really knowledgeable about Savage Dragon, so it was nice that he wrote in. So thanks, Juan, for writing in and listening.
Very
Definitely
active.
appreciate your input. He's one of those guys that probably knows more than all of us with Savage Dragon, so it's kind of fun to hear him chime in and be disappointed in us.
Hold on, I gotta ask. Do you guys know what the Cyberforce Easter egg is?
I don't.
I
I'm
think it's
ashamed to say.
Cyberface. I'll probably have to actually take a look.
No way. No,
He
he's
said
not gonna-
Cyberforce.
Yeah,
Did he?
Force as as in the other Image team. You know. No way. There's no way. What's Cyberforce Easter egg? It's killing me. All right. Oh, I was hoping you guys knew. That's all.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna ruminate so hard over that. I don't even.
I'm just going to
not
look it up now and ignore you guys for the rest of the podcast.
Please do. And now, for a very special letter from an old friend. Dear FINcast Coterie, I contemplated not writing in just to playfully piss off Raven, but I couldn't do that in good conscience to my podcast pals. Barry Manilow said it best with his song, Can't Smile Without You. Link to Barry Manilow's song. Gentlemen, I just had to applaud your appreciation of Grizzly's gorgeous glutes. Basically, Kim Kardashian's hirsute hiney if she skipped a week's worth of electrolysis treatments. Honest people should definitely write into Savage Dragon and admit that they rubbed one out to that image. As for... You like that? As for Captain Tootsie saving the day, loved it. My only fear is that he ever had a stroke and started uttering gibberish. Folks would just assume it was a new massage parlor climax catchphrase. Really hope Larsen reveals that underneath his shirt there's chest hair in the shape of a T, similar to wrestler Hulk Hogan in his early days. Google it. Regarding FINteresting Conversations, our Lord and Savior Erik Larsen should always be the writer of any companion book like North Force. If I were to pick someone else on our chores, Leonard Kirk could supply yeoman service. He's already done team books like Fantastic Four, X Factor, and JSA. He's even provided pencils for Captain Canuck, an analog precursor to the Canadian. Sincerely, Soteris Zeke Gravis. P.S. Your dark cock commentary was gripping, pun obviously intended, and emotionally engaging. P.P.S. As for your previous FINteresting topic, rather than a theatrical release of a Savage Dragon feature film, I say we just jump straight to the sexual release of an STD porno parody, where we finally get to see erect dragon dong. Huzzah! Better yet, hootin' zoots. Soteris? Brother, there ain't nobody like you, and don't you ever change.
So I don't know anything about Cyberforce.
Okay.
But is Gate Industries anything to do with them? Because there's a sign front that says Gate Industries in the background. And that's all I can think of might be a reference, but I know nothing of Cyberforce.
I thought it was the fact that the guy with all the arms on one side of his body and the blonde ponytail is constantly like getting back his corn cob pipe after it's been knocked out of his mouth. I thought that was the reference.
What?
What?
Yeah, you know how Jimbo's constantly like getting his corn cob pipe back?
Yeah.
The guy with all the arms, like on one side in Cyberforce.
Stryker?
Yeah, him too. He's always doing that, dude.
Really?
What?
Yeah, his corn cob pipes. Yeah, dude, is constantly like it'll be knocked out in one panel and then just back in the next.
I don't think that's it.
I don't know if
Nah,
that's
I'm
real.
I'm lying.
I hate you.
Well, I don't know anything about Cyberforce, so I know.
You're gonna ruminate so hard, bro.
Yeah.
Although I do see Clark Kent in the scene with R. Richards. I guess we missed that. Anyway.
I just want to say that if Captain Tootsie pulled his shirt off and his chest hair was in the shape of a T,
Yeah.
I would be very upset.
Would you be upset?
Yeah,
Unhappy?
dude.
Frown?
Disturbed. Yeah.
Nobody liked that.
That's gross. I don't like it. Nobody liked that indeed. I got your meme. Anyway, don't we have a new FINteresting topic to kick around?
What letter should be shaved into Captain Tootsie's chest? Asked Raven.
Obviously the letter O. Just a big blank spot right in the middle. Smooth.
All right, enough of this nonsense.
All right.
So our new FINteresting topic, our FINteresting Conversations is where, we go through this every month, but it's where we either pick a topic or we ask you for your topic to talk about. And since you guys aren't giving us topics, we're going to throw one out there. Based on this issue, once you guys read it, I'd like to ask you who you would pick of the two letterers to stay on with the book, and why. I just want to hear your reasoning. And then on top of that, who has been your favorite all-time letterer for Savage Dragon? I mean, we've had a few by this point, right? We've had Chris Eliopoulos to start it off. At one point, we had Tom Orzechowski. We had John Workman, Rus Wooton, who's back, at least for this issue. He was on for a small stint. Erik lettered himself. There's a lot of guys out there I know that liked Erik's own lettering. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Ferran Delgado. And there might be someone else I'm missing. I'm not sure. I think I may have got them all. But anyway, I'd like to know, again, who's your favorite of the two guys on 260, and who's been your favorite pretty much of all time. So you can write in at savagefincast@gmail.com with your answer, or suggest a topic for our next FINteresting Conversations. I think for us, we'll talk about it as the episode progresses, right? No need to cut to the chase right now.
True, although I suppose we could talk about who our favorite of all time is.
Sure.
That'll come up naturally, so you want to throw that out there?
Yeah. So, I mean, Chris Iliopoulos, of course, set the tone.
Sure, yeah.
But I always have to go with Erik. I believe his lettering was... There's something raw about it. There's something really natural about it. And I can understand why people hate it. It is kind of raw and angular, but it makes it feel more like an indie book. And I think that's what makes it the best.
You like it raw?
Oh, yeah. God.
What about you, Raiden?
Controversial pick. I like Ferran Delgado. I think he really went the extra mile on the sound effects. I think that he tried to make his lettering as graphical as it could be, which, honest to God, after you read really expressive lettering, I just feel like that's how comic lettering should be. I feel like in a visual medium, words are the sound. And if you have everything be... I picked up indie books and stuff where clearly the letterer didn't give a fuck. And even, again, I hate to be court controversy here, but that Captain America book that Erik did, the letterer on that just phoned that shit in. It was like a day, a 1 hour job, a book in an hour. And I just see such a difference when someone makes thoughtful choices and cares. And I think Ferran really tried. And is he the zenith of all letterers in the whole world? No. But is he my favorite Savage Dragon letterer? Yeah, he is. So I know might be a little bit of a sticky wicket for people, but I liked Ferran the best.
Cool. I got a few things. I do like Erik's hand lettering when it's his mini comics and stuff like that. I'm not as big a fan on Savage Dragon. I think just being spoiled by Chris E. and just the fact that Savage Dragon's kind of modeled after your typical superhero comic. Mm-hmm. I kind of like more of a professional looking letterer on it. In terms of my favorite, on one hand I like Chris E., but it's kind of an unfair kind of comparison to other letterers because Chris E.'s is all hand lettering, unless we're comparing his digital. So if I got to go with my favorite, I got to go with Chris E. because I just love the organic hand lettering and just some of those sound effects in the early issues of that kind of just became synonymous with Savage Dragon. A lot of those real angular blam 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 type squared off effects are just kind of. That's all Chris E., and it's kind of echoed after he left and kept on board. And maybe
Jim said, he set the tone.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe Chris borrowed from John Workman and stuff like that. But it kind of started with Chris on Savage Dragon. But if I was going to compare digital to digital, I have to go with Ferran. And the reason why I got to go with Ferran is because he just makes his digital lettering look organic. It looks handwritten.
Yes, dude.
And even you'll see on 260 with the onomatopoeia type designs. For some reason, a lot of digital letterers, and maybe it's just a time thing or whatever, just can't get those sound effects to look natural. They look like stickers.
We talked
So
about it,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
recall.
I think I'm actually doing research on that right now. So here's what I recollect: when Chris Eliopoulos came back in issue 186, I think
Yeah.
he had switched over to digital lettering, and I believe we all commented at the time because we were doing the FINcast at the time that his sound effects kind of looked like stickers because they were kind of on top of everything.
Yeah.
Either the line weight was off or what have you.
The line
the
weight
line
is
weight.
too thin. Yeah, it's almost always that the line weight's too thin.
Right. I was trying to remember exactly who that was, and I'm pretty sure it was Chris Eliopoulos returning on issue 186.
Right. And I just feel like somehow Farron was able to like balance that to make it look almost hand drawn.
Yeah, like I said, it was graphical. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing, is like it looked like graphical effects.
So
Hey guys, if you guys have thrown that out, can I suggest an 11th hour Hail Mary addition to this FINteresting topic
Okay.
that
Go
I
for it.
think might be FINteresting?
All right. Don't screw it up.
Oh, that's good, dude. I got one locked and loaded too. An answer. Who would be your dream letterer to have on the book?
I am not a letterer person, and
I have one, though.
here's the thing. I know John Workman is really good
Uh-huh.
because I think his lettering on the Green Lantern series with wait, was that John Workman? Hold on, I got to double check
he
something.
did like
Anyway,
John Workman's
he's done a
Thor.
lot, John Workman, and I know he's a good letterer, and we've already had John Workman on the title, so you know.
Well, if he's your dream, dude, that's fine. Dream big, I mean, however crazy you want it. Alive, dead, it's a dream. So John Workman's your dream letterer?
Put a pin in that while I double check something.
All right, Craig, what about you, dude? Or do you want me to go to buy you time?
Well, I feel like we've had two of the best with John Workman, Tom Orzechowski, and, well, I'd say three, and Chris E. of, like, all time for comics.
Oh, for sure.
If we're going to stick with, like, digital stuff, I wouldn't mind...
It's your dream, dude. It can be anyone.
well, I don't know. I mean, maybe, like... maybe seeing anyone living or dead.
Alive, dead, anybody, dude. It's a dream pick. See, that's what makes it different than
There's
the other
a lot
like
of
two
cool
questions.
guys that did that. Like Dave Sim had great lettering.
Mm-hmm.
Eisner,
Dude,
I don't know.
Eisner, yeah, throw him on there, dude. Dream pick.
I don't know, man. I just feel like I've liked John Workman. I've liked Chris E's. I don't know.
Okay, so I verified my
I
facts.
don't have them.
It wasn't John Workman, but I did figure out the letter we forgot.
Okay.
And that's Steve Olive. Olive.
Oh, of course.
And he's my dream pick because the lettering he did on that Green Lantern series with Liam Sharp and Grant Morrison is insanely good.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall his lettering on Dragon was really good. So I'd like to see more of
I
that.
don't remember
again.
him on Dragon. I thought he just did colors.
Oh, is that the fact? Hold on, you might be right about that. Hold on. Wow, I'm an idiot. Hold on. Is all of the
This is the
colors?
kind of shit that drives listeners wild, too.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, they're sitting... they're-
Steve Olive did Oli Optics, which is like early Image did a lot of stuff coloring.
You remember the Moon
Oh,
Crew?
God damn it. Okay, yes. Olive was the colorist. Don't listen to me, guys. I'm an idiot. But I do know who the letterer is now.
Uh-huh, okay.
And it's none of these people.
Okay.
It's Tom Orzechowski.
Okay.
He's a really
That's
good
it.
letterer. I like him as a letterer.
Busted. Fake fan. My dream letterer, dudes, you may not even say he's a letterer at all, but he's a letterer for sure. Jim Rugg. We know he's a Savage Dragon fan, and if you've ever read anything of his, Aphrodisiac, Street Angel, anything, you know that motherfucker has very expressive lettering.
It's always
And-
amazing to me, like artists that are good letterers, because my handwriting fucking sucks. And
It's hard, dude.
well, so is my art too. But
You have to use a ruler.
it's just amazing when there's people that are good letterers on top of it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen any of Jim Rugg's lettering, like, again, it's a cheat because he's the artist. So it's like the art obviously is going to be more intertwined with the sound effects than if he was just the artist and then he had a letterer. But like the way Farron Delgado's like letters and stuff filled the physical space of the art, like Jim Rugg does a lot of that shit. And like it's really fucking good. Like it's thoughtful stuff. Like if somebody's throwing a punch, it might be like whack, like in speed lines, like the letters like TWHWACK are all like speed lines, and then thud and like big shaking, like, you know, thick bold lines with like shaking lines coming off of it and shit. Or like if somebody's bashing through a brick wall, like the bricks might spell kapow or something like that. But like I think he always does like really incredible shit with lettering, and in a dream scenario he'd fulfill his destiny as the letterer on Savage Dragon. But whatever, you know.
So guess what? Tom Orkowski has already lettered Savage Dragon.
Yes,
Nice.
we've talked about this 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, I just caught up.
That's okay.
Do you think
We forgive you.
he has a letter T in his chest hair?
Probably the O for Orkowski.
The
I
O.
think his whole name is tattooed on his chest.
Nice, dude. And when he eats spinach, like it moves. Oh, we're off the rails, bros. If you would like to go off the rails with us too on this letterer journey that we took, please send us an email at savagefincast@gmail.com. Comment on the Facebook group. Comment whatever, you know, fucking we're everywhere, baby. Just comment. That's all. Just get it out there. Reply to us, please. We love hearing from you.
Agreed.
And with that said, you fellas hungry?
Kinda.
It depends. What's on the menu?
Well, I was gonna do asparagus and tomatoes.
I mean, I'm on a diet, so that works.
All right. You ready for some asparagus and tomatoes?
Yes.
Let's dig in, dude. I think, though, it's a little cruel for you because I'm going to be having a double dose of meat and potatoes this month as we look at 2 versions of Savage Dragon 260, baby.
Let's talk about this cover.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
this
man.
cover real quick. Do you know all the factoids about this cover, Craig?
No.
Because
I know
it's
some,
based
but
on
you
it's
tell
based
me.
well, it's based on a Daredevil cover,
What?
and I don't know what number or who did it
Fake.
or anything
Fake
about
fan.
it. Well, yeah, I'm a
Fake.
fake fan. I'm not a Daredevil fan.
Right. Man without fear. Man without references.
Daredevil issue 120.
And who drew that? Was
If
that?
you look at the little sign,
Oh, does it say?
That's,
Zoom in, enhance. Let's see here.
the little green sign. That's
Kane.
Oh, it's Gil
underneath.
Kane. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was Bob Kane.
No. Easy mistake to make.
So-
I often make it myself.
So Torment is filling. He's taking the place of El Jaguar.
Okay.
You know, a
And,
character who
he's pulling-
stands the test of time, El Jaguar.
Mm-hmm.
He's pulling Black Widow out the window while Daredevil swings into the view.
Now starring in her own major motion picture.
And actually, the lettering and everything is like the same. It's like, this is the menace called El Jaguar. I think it says something like, you know,
He wants to destroy Daredevil's life.
he wants to slay the Black Widow.
I have one question. Where is Malcolm jumping from?
The ground, dude.
I think he's coming up from the
maybe
ground. I guess that makes
He's
sense.
He's got those badass jumping powers. Imagine.
Jaguar looks like Puma to me.
All right, I gotta look at this goddamn Daredevil cover now.
What number was it?
Daredevil 120.
Daredevil 420. Am I right? Blaze it up.
Womp womp.
No, I'm square.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Wow.
The New Year's resolution is slay the Black Widow. Season's greetings, Hornhead, and a Hydra New Year.
Well, the boxes are similar, but
Jaguar dresses like a pervert.
I mean, it looks like a dime store. What the hell's his name? Crab and the Hunter.
Oh.
All right, Jim, here's a question for you. Where in the fuck is Daredevil swinging in from?
Well, I see yellow streets,
Yeah.
which make me think of yellow skies, which makes this whole image seem topsy-turvy to me.
Yeah.
Daredevil's swinging from around the corner of the building.
Yeah, he's got a rope. You know, he makes sense.
Well, I don't mind saying that Erik smoked him.
Yes. Erik has made Gil Kane
his bitch.
Yes.
Just say that. We'll just put that out there. Sorry, Gil. Better luck next time.
I gotta say, though, Erik should have went full on retro and put, like, this black bar across the top and, like, with little spotlight portraits of Malcolm and Maxine.
A little Maxine?
Yeah,
dude. I'm with you. That'd be awesome.
Well, shame on you guys, because this is Gil Kane's composition, which is pretty cool as shit.
You know what?
Copying.
Gil Kane should have drawn the goddamn bricks on the wall. How about that, Craig? Erik did. What's wrong with Gil that he didn't? Does Black Widow live in the only building made out of one solid piece?
Yes.
Sounds like horseshit. And what's with the sloppy boots on El Jaguar? Like, is that going to stay on anyone's foot? I think Gil Kane is a train wreck on this cover.
Raven doesn't understand. He doesn't like comics.
I'm a fake fan. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't picked up on it, I am a fake fan. No, I'm joking. I love it. I think it's cool. I do wonder what's the reason, because Erik usually has some reason for this kind of stuff.
I think. Well, it's hard to say if the
because it
story.
looks cool as shit.
I wonder if in this case,
yes.
I wonder if the story followed the cover or vice versa. Because there's a big splash page in this issue, which is a lot of this. So, I'm not sure which informed which in what order.
Season's greetings, Finhead, and Torment New Year, right? No, that couldn't work. I still think that El Jaguar dresses like a fucking pervert.
Well,
it's not good.
He's not exactly a character that has made an impact. I'm not buying Marvel Legends figures of the Jaguar. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah, Erik smoked him, bros. Smoked him.
So,
wait. Hold on. Erik didn't put bricks in Maxine's building either.
That's what I was going to call you out on. There's no bricks in Maxine's building. What were you talking about?
I'm judging him so hard. Draw every brick in the building. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, Erik did put a lot more windows in the background.
And more cars on the street.
Yes. And you know Erik hates drawing cars, so you know he's putting in effort.
Yep. You think as he was drawing, he's like, God damn, I gotta smoke Kane. Gotta smoke him. You know he wasn't. You know he wasn't. Right away, the lettering differences are apparent.
Yeah, we should talk about the lettering like right now, because right off the bat we get the first taste, and the big one is on the page one, the big Savage Dragon banner and Torment. So, Wooton does a straight banner with jaggy letters, whereas Morelli,
Jack Morelli
has a banner he has jagged Savage Dragon letters and like a slightly curved like banner Torment. And I gotta say, keeping score here, I think Wooton's is better on page one.
How funny you should say that. Last second decision. I got a little tick sheet here, and we're going to come to a consensus. Because there's three of us, so we can break a tie on every single page. So, Craig, you disagree?
Yeah, so I got to tell you, this is weird, because I looked at the first page, and I was like, man, Morelli, definitely, like, this first page, I like Morelli way better. He had more of the Ferrin Delgado, which I liked with the banner. The Savage Dragon looked, to me, better. I just thought it felt better. Even like the circle where the brought to you by, I liked Morelli's better. So I'm like, oh man, this Morelli guy is like hitting it out of the park. Like I think I'm gonna really like his version better. But I got to tell you, like I looked at everything throughout this book, and we'll talk about it. You know, I'm sure like on most pages. I looked at the dialogue font. I looked at the balloon shape, the balloon placement, the sound effects design, and I feel like each page is like one guy, then the other guy, then one guy, then the other guy. There was no like clear favorite for me. It was like really hard for me to do, and I really thought after looking at this first page that like I was going to be Jack Morelli all the way. And you know, it's weird. Like some pages one guy does it better for me, and then some pages the other guy does.
And I have a somewhat similar experience, because this first page by Wooton I thought was going to be indicative of my overall favorite, but when we get to the end, I'm going to have more detailed opinions on that. But right off the bat, two things about Wooton's first page that I think are overall better.
Okay.
So I like how Torment has a drop shadow, makes it jump out with Paul here punching a rock with his new robo hand. So I think in a way the drop shadow makes it look like the Torment is jumping out at me with the rock busting.
Like it.
Okay. Other thing I really like, the circle at the bottom, as Craig mentioned. He does this really cool jaggedy line thing.
Yeah.
And I really like that jaggedy line. That's a cool jaggedy line.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one is more clean line, which I
Straight.
not as big a fan of clean.
Yeah.
Now, however, I do want to amend this.
Likes his lettering raw and dirty, if you're listening.
So here's the thing: Wooton makes the word Savage Dragon very straight and clean, gives it a little drop shadow, but it's straight and clean. Whereas in the other one, it's jaggedy, and I got to give it to the jaggedy drop shadow of Jack Morelli. In this case, but you know, that's 1 out of 3 elements. So in this case, Wooton wins.
Yeah, I'm giving my point
in the numbers
to
game.
Yeah, I'm giving my point to Wooton, so that's 2-1.
Oh, and
this page.
I also have to just say real quick, I just don't like ribbon banners. I know they're old school. Sure. I'm not a fan.
You know what I didn't like about the ribbon banner as opposed to the Torment bacon strip?
Yes.
The ribbon banner touches the edges of the image.
Yes.
Like
tangents.
Tangentially, right? Whereas the Torment bacon strip bursts past it.
It does.
Yep. And that's a good contrast to up above. Savage Dragon is flush and square.
Indeed.
So I like it better. I got to give this page to Rus. So that's 1 point to Rus. Sorry, Craig. Better luck next page.
Well, next page is mostly just word balloons.
Right.
So no sound effects, no banners.
But appreciate, if you will, since we're getting into it, the fact that Jack is inflating his balloons. Like, there's an organic balloon inflation here and there, whereas Rus is doing a lot of straight circles and ovals.
I like the tighter balloons. I feel like Jack's balloons have a lot of space in them.
Okay.
Like, if you compare the two, there's a lot of, like, it seems like the letters are floating more in the middle of the balloon, whereas, like, Rus's are more tight and concise, and you'll see that throughout, but I kind of like that aspect better.
Did any of you have any feelings over the extra effort Jack put to have Paul's robo-arm overlapping the word balloon in the other thing? The 2 word balloons, actually. It's kind of cool because the word balloons are like pushed behind Paul's arm.
Right, it makes them look like they're like in the background of the panel.
Yeah, I got to give this page, for that one reason, to Jack.
Yes. I'm of 2 minds of this. I agree with you on that point, but I agree with Craig that I kind of like the more precise word balloon bubbles.
I like the inflated balloon a little bit better.
Like,
in that case, then, but you guys are giving it to Rus, so we'll give it to Rus.
Like the one coming off of Paul in the first panel. Jack's is kind of egg-shaped, and I don't think I like it.
You know, that's an inflated word balloon. That's
is that the industry term?
it's made to look a little more organic, a little more hand-drawn.
Yeah.
So ironically, Craig, you like the hand-drawn sound effects. You're not a fan of the organic-looking word balloons.
I wouldn't say that in all cases. I'm just more of a fan of smaller word. I don't like a lot of space in the balloons. So I was looking more at the bottom panel where the balloons, to me, look less organic because they look like they're just kind of generic balloons where you're just fitting type in. Whereas, to me, the tighter balloons look like you took the time to make it tighter around the letter. I don't know if that makes sense, but
So
I feel like a tighter balloon around the letter.
I know
makes
Erik
it
has been
look
talking
more-
on social media about proper lettering techniques,
Yeah.
and I'm unsure if you're supposed to trim them that close as Wooton has done.
Well, again, inflating balloons is considered good lettering. So, ironically, what Jack's doing here is considered good because it's more thoughtful.
Right.
What Rus is doing on the left-hand side here is it's more like just ovals and circles. And even though it's tighter and so it covers less art, it's considered less appealing, if you can believe that. We do
What do you
need to
guys think
also
of the
talk.
story?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't want to just talk about just the letter as the whole issue, but
Right.
we could. But the story is pretty important.
I think it's awesome as shit that Paul is sort of got this friendship with this fucking guy, Joseph Strange. That's so cool. Isn't it kind of neat that that guy was nah, just in the last issue, sorry, bro, that's just not my reality. And he's Paul's just fuck it, dude. We were bros. Give me that robot arm. Isn't that neat?
Yeah,
Don't you guys think that's cool?
I like the nice little fix how you could get Paul onto this reality, and with the merging of multiple worlds, that people still, even though he's not the dragon they know, they kind of know him. It's like a nice cheat in a way.
Yeah.
But,
it also makes the merging not be unimportant.
Right.
Like the merging, which happened and was so important, kind of felt like it faded away into nothing for a while. And then, now here comes Paul, and it makes the merging very important. It's basically how Paul knows everyone.
It's pretty cool, too, to have Joseph Strange, who's kind of fills in that Rex Dexter void.
Right.
Yeah. To have a super scientist guy that could kind of invent things it's always a nice character to have around.
And I really appreciate that Erik had Joseph say that he's well, it's not as good as Super Patriot's arm, but it's pretty cool. And I was oh, it's nice, dude. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't going to turn into a big gun.
Yeah. So, just so we're keeping score, though, you guys gave this page to Rus?
Yes.
Okay.
This page.
Keep going. Okay, let's keep going now. On this next page, story-wise,
So,
Broski's, Jim's got to be happy here.
oh
right?
yeah, I'm totally thrilled that Malcolm is pissed off at everybody for just accepting Paul like they have. Malcolm is absolutely right about this. He
It's
is
perfect.
100% correct to be skeptical,
As
and,
I'm
and also
reading
to be
this-
obnoxious, be annoyed by it.
As I'm reading this, I'm hearing your approval, Jim. I was Jim got his way hard on this one, dude.
Well, this has been peppered in the last few issues, so
Right.
Malcolm's been pretty if not anti-Paul, just kind of anti. He's not my dad,
right.
because he ain't your dad. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah, but to the point to where he's not even going to be his best man?
You don't know the man. You know how weddings go in Savage Dragon?
True. Usually a shit show. That's a great Maxine, too.
Yeah.
So much good art on this. Malcolm's expression when he's the panel where the third one down where he's and I resent.
Yeah.
It's good Malcolm and such a great Maxine, dude. Ooh, it's a good
I
page.
did spend some time trying to figure out what the deal with Maxine's blue shoes were, only to realize now that she is standing on his knees.
Giant blue shoes.
Yes.
You want to know what's funny? For just a heartbeat, I thought that she had pulled her pants down.
That was the other thing I was trying to figure out. This don't make sense for shoes, so she must have pulled her jeans down, but she's not wearing any jeans.
Right. And I was like, you moron. She's standing on his knees.
On the lettering front, this one I got to give to Jack, if only because I liked how in the first Maxine panel, she's got her word balloons connected at the top. And also, I think the bottom word balloon being closer to her rather than stretched away is better.
How about you, Craig?
I felt the same for the same panel, but I like it because the lettering was, like, especially the no's and yeses were
more
emphasized.
Pronounced. Yeah.
Just from a design standpoint, so that's why I liked it better.
Guess what? That's a home run for Jack, because I, too, liked his page better with the no's and the yeses sealing the deal. I also liked, again, Jack puts the word balloon behind Maxine's calf. And anytime you can kind of make this stuff occupy physical space, I'm down with it.
Right.
On to the next one. Guys, what a page flip.
Oh no, John Day, again.
I mean, but, John, the immortal John Day aside, what a page flip.
I mean, I don't think we've ever saw Torment in this light, like just eating corpses, right?
Right, yeah. Like, he's always kind of struck me as more of a, like, just a rampaging, like, goon, And this was kind of shocking to me. Here he is just feasting on a corpse.
So this is the first page where my initial reaction that Wooton was going to be my favorite letterer has started to waver.
Uh-oh.
Because I really like how Jack does sound effects. The ram on panel 2 is probably the best example here because it's got a curve to it. It's not straight.
Yeah.
And I also like the blam blam better versus the... Granted, I think Wooton is going for like a classic early Larsen blam blam, which were always like very block, stacked on top of each other.
Right.
But I still kind of prefer this, where it's a little bit more irregular and separated.
Yeah, I feel like Rus is going, like you said, more for the Chris E.
Yeah.
Like that kind of blam has always been synonymous with that's how you draw a gunshot in Savage Dragon. But I feel like the blam blam is more like the old school Artie Simek, like what Farron Delgado was going for. And I agree with you, like the sound effects, I feel like overall look better with Jack stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan though the font he uses for Torment. I feel like his Torment font in the square.
Yeah, I don't like the square.
I don't like this
dialogue boxes either. That's my one down on Jack on this one.
I feel like the font for Torment looks like a digital font.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas I feel like Russ's font looks more organic to me, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure they're digitally lettering this.
No, I know
they probably have their own custom fonts they made themselves.
I'm just saying the font doesn't look as good to me on Jack's as I like Russ's font better for Torment.
Gonna agree with you dudes on a lot of points. Ram, to me, Russ's Ram looked like just a sticker. We were commenting about that sticker look.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
His Ram looked like a sticker, whereas Jack's kind of had that, like you said, physical, like it's coming out, like emphasis.
And I think its curved nature plays into the fact that he swung his fist more.
Yeah,
absolutely. It follows the eye, which I think is just generally more appealing.
I do appreciate the blam blam, the classic blam blam better that Rus did here, and I liked his Torment word balloons better. They think they looked cooler than the square, like that jaggedy wavy border looked just better. But in the end, I see for me a lettering sin I do not love, and that's when the tail of a word balloon goes off the panel. he didn't mean that. The way the word balloon tail's pointing like up and off the panel. To me,
Who's on which one?
At the very last panel, blam.
Oh, because his
on
head's
Rus's.
off panel. Yeah.
Right, his head's off panel, but you know what I think works just fine? I think he didn't mean that. Just pointing in Torment's general direction works just fine. I know it's a nitpick, but bros, I'm always going to choose a tail just pointing at someone on the panel than shooting off. So
Gotcha.
I'm giving Jack this point. I think that's another one for Jack.
Yep.
All right, next page. Bros, love when Savage Dragon tonally shifts. I love when it's like on one page a guy's just getting fucking eating.
Paul stands on porches a lot, I find.
Well, maybe no one trusts him enough to come inside with his big metal bushwhacker there. I like these classic Larsen shades that William's wearing.
Yep.
Old man William, right? This is the oldest looking. I know we've seen him, but like, is this the first time we've seen him since the Sunday Funnies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he definitely looked, he looked Doonesbury-esque there, but I guess it's still Doonesbury-esque in this style.
He's fucking old, dude.
I'm sure
aging,
he's
man.
typing on a typewriter somewhere.
Keeping that hair, baby.
Well, he's got to be, what, in his 60s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's been almost 30 years, and he would have been like, what, 30-something when the book started?
I gotta imagine.
This is funny, dude. I mean, there's not too much to say other than it's cool to see William, and it's just funny, like, Paul making this, he's trying to make a compelling argument. Like, and even to say, dude, we even shared bodies. And he's like, Malcolm turned you down, didn't he? He's like, was it that obvious? It's good comedy, man. Good Larsen comedy. I also really appreciate that foreshortened hand on Paul.
Yeah.
In the top middle panel. Really like that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Lettering wise,
So the
I know
important
it's kind
question.
of
So this is this is an interesting. This is a boring page for lettering, but I think. Well, sorry, you were about to say something.
No, I'm just saying, who do you guys give it to?
So, one thing I think I've noticed with this page in particular is that Jack's letters, I think, are slightly smaller than Wooton's.
Okay.
And I think on this page, I got to give it to Wooton because I think the slightly larger letters look a little better. Especially in like the second panel where Paul's like giving the life story, but it looks even better in the fourth panel, whereas in Jack's it looks a bit tall and skinny.
It's too stacked.
It's too stacked, where it looks a little better spread out in Wooton's. So in this, I agree. I got to give this page to Wooton.
What about you, Craig?
I agree. That fourth panel, it's like a lot of it is just one word stacked on another word, and so it looks too skinny.
I am going to seal the deal with a home run for Rus. A three-peat, because I also like it. I agree with everything you bros said, and in addition, may I add, anytime that you can push a word balloon flush to the top of the panel for me, I know it's so weird to say that's a win, but that's a win for me. Because it's the word balloon like almost getting the fuck out of the way.
Right.
And I know that's just preference, but I like it. And I like you see, Malcolm turned you down, didn't he? Pushed up to the top. That was in your dimension. Pushed up to the top. Was it that obvious? Pushed up to the top. So it's like anytime you can just get those word balloons up and out of the way of the art, let the art shine, baby, I'm for it. It's a three-peat. Rus, you win this one. Guys, if I can draw your attention on this next page to something that I find subtly hilarious. Look at the boobs on that mannequin.
Yes, they're quite big. But
what's funny is that mannequin is bustier than any woman on this page.
So, Paul getting married to Alex is new information, right? We weren't told that, right?
I thought we were.
No, we were. We were like, is that a joke? Is he like?
Yeah, it was
we
jokey.
had this discussion.
Yeah, it was jokey. That's right. We thought.
Because Angel's not married yet, because Frank's still in America.
Right.
And I think we made jokes about Alex and Paul stealing Angel and Frank's thunder. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the massive faux pas.
Right. Yeah, because remember Paul cracked the joke? He was like, Alex made a joke. He's like, well, if it's tacos, then I guess you're not marrying me, or whatever, you know? And we're like, oh shit, is Paul getting married to Alex? The dream. Listen, I've been rooting for Alex.
Well,
to fucking tie the knot all these years.
Getting that second prize.
Yes, doesn't matter.
I like that Paul's in the picture because it's bringing Alex more in the picture as well.
Yes, dude. Classic original universe Alex. Her and Malcolm and Angel are the only ones, right?
Mary and the doppelganger.
Doesn't matter, dude.
And
another time.
Yes. Well, no. Also, there's a Janie and the Johnson twins.
Right. Okay. That's right. Ever since the kids came, that's more from the original Image universe.
Right.
Okay.
And She-Dragon. Amy's from the original universe. No, she got tossed. No, she's Savage World. Never mind. She was just in Dimension X for a while.
Correct.
I gotta say, I like the idea, Alex, of she's just like kind of doing it low key. She's just not even gonna have a white wedding dress, you know.
She's gonna have that fucking ugly wedding dress.
That's not ugly. Dude. It's like beachwear.
It's kind of like, would you really want wedding pictures in that dress?
Maybe.
Orange and red, no.
Of course, I can't tell. Is Angel trying on wedding dresses, or is she trying on bridesmaid dresses? Because her bridesmaid dress is a lot more fancy than Alex's like first choice here. So
it fits the punchline.
It does.
I think that's the point.
Yeah. It fits the punchline.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Angel slimmed down.
A little bit.
It's kind of like, again, more plot progression, you know, on that little thing. But also, too, we get a glimpse of the future. Like, we know when Paul and Angel, or Frank and Angel get married, they're going to try and go big. So that's kind of a cool little, like, just a little subtle drop.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait for that big wedding, dude.
I'm going to say something kind of probably controversial. Well, not controversial. Probably more like insulting to all women.
How dare you?
I can't wait. Jim's never a chauvinist.
Are you sure? You're going to get us canceled.
I don't think Angel's traditional haircut matches her current body type.
That's a weird take. How so? In what way?
I don't know. I mean, I've always kind of liked her hair, but it's a lot more bowl cutty now. I don't know. Makes her head look big. I don't know.
I don't have a problem with it.
How dare you?
I'm saying it's time for a new haircut. That's what I'm getting at.
Hashtag Jim Purcell's a monster.
Trending on Twitter.
She's looking kind of. Okay, I'll narrow it down. She's looking kind of Karen. A little too much Karen.
Karen, get out of town, dude. I don't think there's anything wrong with her haircut. It's good, dude. I think both of them look fantastic. I think Alex is looking great. And what's funny about her orange and rosy dress is actually it looks really cool on her. Like she dressed well for her tone.
Well, it's like she says is that she could wear this to do other things.
That's a funny sentiment. Don't you think that's like maybe too casual?
Pragmatism. I can appreciate that.
Just gonna wear my wedding dress to like a fucking Taco Bell. You know? This is weird. A little too casual, Alex. Calm down. It's important in your life. Oh, I know what it is, though, dudes. Do you know why Alex so casual? She's just marrying a clone.
Right. Exactly. Who cares? He's probably going to be evil in a couple of issues. You know, isn't going to last long.
The real dragon will get a white dress. Paul was going to get a beach dress.
Lettering, similar as last page. I'm going to give this one to Rus. In this case, I think it's just a hair better for the talkie pages. I'm
going to lose because I heard Craig yell same, but I do like Jack's inflated word balloons better than Russ's round ones. But again, it's not a big crazy page for lettering to shine, so Rus wins that one. Moving right along, bros. What do you get about like Home Investigation Malcolm?
I actually really
Stalker.
I actually like this a lot because, and here's where Jim has to get real.
Uh-oh.
Really real. I've never felt that Malcolm was very proactive.
I knew you were going to say proactive.
Malcolm is a very reactionary character. Things go wrong, he deals with it.
Right.
But going to, looking into like Torment's background, following up a lead, that's proactive. That's trying to find the source of the problem. That's honestly, it's something I wish the book did more.
I never thought about it, but you're right. Huh. Yeah, I like it.
Because, Dragon would sometimes, he would go off and he would, like, hunt people down. Especially when he was, like, doing the bounty hunting stuff. But when he was a cop, he occasionally did cop-like things.
Right.
And also, when things were, like when the Covenant of the Sword was doing shit, he would go investigate, like, things. But I've always felt Malcolm was a lot more reactionary. Just letting things happen.
Yeah, sure.
I think with Dragon, though, him being a cop, like, he would be sent on missions and stuff like that. So that kind of is where some of that was coming from.
Right.
But I agree. I do like
Proactive.
kind of being more of the hero looking into things.
Miss Torrance, I got to give Erik props. Like, it's weird. He's been doing this for 29 years, and I still feel like he can bust out a new face.
Yeah.
You don't think she looks like Old Lady Angel?
No. You would, you bowl cut hair hater. Old Angel. No, dude. I like her weird old angular chin and her round glasses, and I think it's kind of cool that he can just bust out like a unique looking face. Like, he really sells her as just kind of a no, Tommy doesn't live with me. Ooh. And like Malcolm's hands when he's like, Tommy was caught feasting on human remains, Miss Torrance. Like, it's good body language. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's good stuff, dude.
I love that we get a little origin kind of on
Yeah.
Torment.
And it's funny, too. A good origin and a joke. There's no cannibalism on my side of the family.
Right.
So this is interesting, too. Like, throwing out this concept, we knew that, like, demonoids are, like, fucking rapists, basically.
Right.
Like, every time you see them, they're doing terrible shit. But, like, Mrs. Torrance fucking brought a demonoid baby all the way to, like, fucking adulthood.
Yeah.
And is this what the hell happens when humans and do you just get torments when humans and demonoids mate? Like, what the hell? I just think it's an interesting wrinkle to throw into the book.
I always thought Torment was like just some guy that was like had those little worm things kind of infecting him like a parasite.
Right, I thought the worm things were Torment. And that what the body is just like reacting to, the parasite.
Right. Apparently not.
So you think the worm things are demonoids?
No, I think they are the Torment entity. And that they inhabit the body and mutate the body. Because remember, we've seen Torment before, and Malcolm killed the parasites.
Yeah.
And they've grown back.
Right.
It is strange biology if he is half human, half demonoid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like his hands and everything, like especially the red side, looks demonoid, so it makes sense.
I just think it's an interesting thing to be like, if a demonoid does mate with a human, it just produces like this weird fucking other type of creature.
And who knows? Maybe they age faster, and that's why he's like childlike.
Yeah, infantile. Question: who'd you guys give this to in lettering?
I'm gonna give it to Jack, if only because I like the Knock Knocks better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I gotta say, I know you like putting like word balloons behind things.
Uh-huh.
But I think at panel 4, when Jack puts them behind Malcolm's hands, it kind of gives Malcolm a case of the baby hands.
I'll agree, actually, with you that I actually do not like that. It's funny you should say that. That's actually an instance where I think putting the word balloon physically behind something doesn't work. It did make his hands look weird for some reason to me.
Yeah. I also
Baby
don't.
hands.
I also don't like Jack's lettering on panel 5 when you compare it to like it's the bubbles on 5 compared to like the bubbles that Rus does on panel 5.
Right.
Agreed.
I think the problem might be like the thick connecting.
It just takes up that and just takes up so much room. It just seems unnecessary. Like
You
that
mean the
top
big,
bubble.
tall, wide balloon, right?
Yeah, I
like-
mean just overall how the bubbles take over the panel.
Right. So who did you guys end up giving that on? Because I got a little bit of a conflict there.
Rus.
I do
I said
too.
Rus. No. Jack. I think personally, the knock knocks put it over in Jack's favor.
Yeah, Craig said me too, but then Craig shit all over panel 5. So I'm just
Yeah,
like,
so I think I have to just even it out and just take myself out because I think they both kind of have. I can't pick one over
Tilt.
the other, so it's a tie.
Honk.
I'm gonna get. If you're doing that, then I give it to Rus, which makes it me just Rus to Jack. So that's a no point
That's
on
a
that page.
0.
Yep, that is a no point.
So I'm saying
at
this
all.
whole comic, I felt like this. I felt like there was no clear winner for me.
Let's get to the end. We'll decide who the winner is then.
Now this page, I gotta tell you guys,
This double page spread with the bubbles.
this is a hilarious double page spread.
I love
Like-
it.
Yeah, me too, dude. Have you ever seen a double page spread played for laughs in Savage Dragon? It's usually always action, right?
Yeah, it's just great. It's just kind of like I love all the detail of his face. Like he's such a cool character to look at.
Yeah.
And it's not even like his costume or anything. It's just his giant head with those cool worm things. They just look so neat.
Yes.
And of
Totally
course
agree.
the textures that Nikos brings.
Yes, dude. Fantastic.
Look at the top right hand corner, like the brush strokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wow. It's just neat. I love it. The white splat, like the paint splatters, the brush strokes. It's fun to look at.
Yeah, it could easily be incredibly boring, but you have Erik and Nikos firing on all cylinders here in what could be, in the hands of like a lesser cartoonist and colorist, a boring page. But like, it's a feast for fucking textures. It's a feast for colors. Like, it somehow is a feast, and it's a double page spread played for comedy. And so that's what's so crazy to me about this double page spread.
Look at the textures in the red worm's face. Like,
Yeah.
it's like that's such a great coloring job. Like, I don't want Nikos to change the way he's colored. Like, I hope he stays. You know how like I feel like Nikos every like 10 issues, like the coloring changes or something. You know,
Right.
I think they found a point, and maybe I'll change my mind in 10 issues. But I'm at a point where I think this is the best that he's done on this book. Like, I really enjoy it. And it's weird when you would compare, like, when he began and all, like, the...
Oh, I bitch all the time.
I know.
Everything was too shiny, the yellow skies. I had a lot of problems early on.
And I used to like it, and I look back at it now, and I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Like, it wasn't that great. Like, I didn't like it, but he's definitely, like, just evolved as a colorist and has become, like, an amazing, amazing colorist.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Fantastic. Couldn't agree anymore. Couldn't add anything to it. Yeah. I guess that leaves us to what do you fellas think in the lettering battle?
I gotta give it to Rus this time. Again, I think the slightly larger letters help improve the readability of this double page spread, and also, of course, none of us really like the square torment word balloons, right?
Greg, what about you?
Yeah, I feel the same. I like the font that Rus is using for Torment better than what Jack is, and the same with the bubbles.
Fellas, then that makes it a 3-peat because I also like Rus's like jaggedy word balloons. And yep, moving right along, my dudes. Yeah, Malcolm calls Miss Torrance on her bullshit. It's like, bro, I hear the voices. I love that he's like, I hear Torment's voice. He's like, voices. I'm like, oh, it's a nice little touch to be like the voices. You figured that they didn't sound the same, but like Malcolm confirms it. That like it literally sounds like different voices when the worms talk. It's such a nice little addition, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And he just
that
barges
voice,
in.
those voices.
Right. And he just barges in on past her, you know? Which is funny because it does kind of bring up the point, like Malcolm really is just like fucking home invading this Canadian, you know?
Oh yeah, it's violating many rights.
Right. Prime Minister's going to have him drawn and quartered.
But he's not a cop, so I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. It's good, dude. It's good. Torment out of his bubble bath.
I guess I'm going to say it's tie on this one, lettering wise. I'm gonna yeah, it's fine. They're both basically the same, to be honest, in this particular case.
Okay. What about you, Craig?
I think I'm going with Jack on this one.
Explain, if you will.
I kind of like the first panel of the more curvy kind of tail on the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't like the tail going off panel in the second.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know. That's about it. That was just hard. I could go tie on those two.
Well, then I'm going to tip it.
Close.
If you're going with Jack, I'm going with Jack because I like as much as I don't like the word balloon coming off, I very much like the fact that Malcolm, the word balloon's going behind his fin in panel 2 and behind Miss Torrance's finger. That's an instance where sound pushing into the background, I think, super duper works.
Because the word balloon is also behind the other word balloon.
Right. Yeah, so it's like it's behind the other word balloon, it's behind the finger, it's behind the fin. And, yeah, I think that's a little bit better than how Rus did it, where Rus just, like, slapped an oval over Malcolm's fin.
I see.
And so, yeah, I'm giving it to Jack, so that's one for Jack. All right, so next page, we see our man Paul. Good old Silverhand makes the stage on his wedding day.
Should have worn a glove.
Should have worn a glove. Would that have not looked weirder? Just one white glove?
I don't know. We've been over this before, but I always wonder about those ridges just ripping the shit out of your loved ones.
No.
You just wear like 2 gloves like Mickey Mouse.
No, dude.
Well, he is in a tux, but I guess gloves are more for for help. Never been watching a lot of Downton Abbey. Butlers wear gloves.
P.S. Malcolm called Paul's fin a green turd in this issue, and I'm not gonna not mention that that's awesome. So just saying that.
He says it so we don't have to.
Yeah, I love it. So funny, dude. I love that he's busting on Paul's little fin. This is cool.
I do like
Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was gonna say, even though Williams seemed a little cold on the porch, he seems a little nicer here, right? You know, just asking Paul if he's nervous and stuff.
Yeah.
A little warmed up, maybe.
I kind of like Old Man William.
Me too,
He looks
dude.
cool.
Yeah. He's aged up. I like it.
I like how there's such a variety of characters now with like older generation and younger. Like
Yes.
kids, you know, like young kids, then, you know, kids in their 20s, and then like so 3 generations basically, and it's just kind of neat to see that.
I'm going to bust some chops. When DC did their big push for finger quote diversity, they got rid of a lot of old characters, like old people. Like DC had a bunch of old fuckers and bald people and just all kinds of diversity, really. And then when they're like, oh, it's a new 52.
Raven, those are called the Justice Society.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, I feel like they flushed a lot of that shit down the shitter. So it is cool to see like this book that has multiple generations, and you have like just old dudes and stuff. You don't see a lot of old dudes in comics. That's all. The Justice Society full of old dudes.
Yeah, they're from the 40s.
Talking about Jay.
Garrick the Flash, yes.
Yeah. All right. Just checking. With his big Super Bowl hat.
They're still around. I mean, they were put on the shelf for a while, but they're still used again now.
They still use that guy. It's basically like a pill head. Like he takes a magic pill.
Oh yeah, Hour Man rules.
All right.
Although
he's a pill head.
I think his grandson is Hour Man now. But anyway, yes, he does take pills to be strong for an hour, as many men do.
It's problematic. That's a dick joke.
I can do them too, Raven. I can
like
do them too.
Mr. Purcell, I will always stop and appreciate a good Viagra boner joke. Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to feel alone all the time. I don't want to be the FINcast scumbag.
Too late.
So, so I guess wedding on the beach of Lake Ontario? How romantic.
You guys ever been to a beach wedding?
No.
They're cool. If you ever get a chance, crash one if your friends aren't having one. And if you ever have a wedding, again, I guess this is more to like Jim or me. But if you ever have a wedding, a beach wedding is fantastic. It's so fun. Everybody's loving it. It's the ocean. So much better than a church. Forget about it. I like that Paul and Alex had a beach wedding. I think it's cool. It's just different.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of weddings in Savage Dragon.
Funerals, too.
I was expecting... were you guys expecting some foreboding thing or something?
Dude, they foreshadow it here. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, because
He talks about Bronze Man, and I was expecting Bronze Man to show up like...
Me too, dude! I was like, God
fuck
damn,
you, Paul.
I was like, if Bronze Man kills Alex, I'm going to fucking kill myself next, dude.
Bronze Man just bursts out of the sand. Fuck you, Dragon.
I've been here the whole time.
I've been waiting. Finally.
It's all according to plan. No.
I sent myself back in time, buried myself, and reactivated my suit at this very moment.
Life's a beach, Paul. Yeah, man. I thought they were foreshadowing. I'm so glad you said that, Craig, dude. I thought they were foreshadowing. Erik was foreshadowing a Bronze Man attack. I really did, dude. I was like, God damn, don't let Bronze Man show up. Because I've been wanting Bronze Man to return. Hey. And I was like, at what cost? Like, do I lose Alex to get Bronze Man? Like, that's a trade I don't want to make.
Faco just leaps out of the lake.
No!
One full swoop. And then back into the depths.
No.
Bites off his other arm.
Question, lettering battle. Who's winning it? I know this is not a strong lettering page, but you guys got a preference?
My preference is Rus, just for the footnote on the bottom. I like it.
The wider one? Yes. You know what? I'm going to give it to him for that as well.
All right, that puts Rus in the corner. I actually had a no contest. Just don't care on this one. Nobody's really knocking the other one down real hard, so no contest in my book. But that still gives it to Rus because you both did Rus. So
that's right.
Hey, man. 2 fantastic. Torment is Johnny's showstopper this issue. Just like, what a great double-page spread.
Yeah.
I do like the little detail how everyone's dressed up to go to the wedding.
Love it, Jim. Love it, dude.
Pretty sure Maxine's still not wearing underwear, which, I mean, you make choices, I guess.
I mean, easy access. You know what? Can I just say that I wasn't wrong when I said that he drew the bricks? Because look at this building.
Oh, yeah, there's bricks on this drawing.
That's right, motherfucker. Oh, that's the building I was thinking of.
I'm also a big fan of the Zipatone Street.
Love the zip. I'm glad you said that, dude. I love the Zipatone Street. Love it.
It's not like a big black bar. Like, would probably be distracting.
Yeah, if that was a black bar, it would be. But this Zipatone, like, pushes it into the distance.
I do find it interesting how Torment doesn't talk, but his head things do. And basically, this is payback for messing with his mother, which
dude.
I think is good for good motivation, to be honest, to push this conflict.
Yeah. Mom revenge.
Fair is fair.
Mm-hmm. You mess with my mom, I'll mess with your mom. Or your mother of your children, whatever.
I gotta say, Maxine's getting it pretty hard here.
He is gripping the shit out of her hair.
Yeah, fortunately, I guess his own arm must have blocked all the glass, because holy shit, surprised she isn't all cut up.
Well, he would have had to smash his fist through to grab her, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is what we professional killers call defenestration.
Defenestration?
Defenestration.
Throw stuff out of windows.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Using the debris to show motion?
Yeah. The glass all flying out and shit. But no, the act of putting someone through a window.
Oh, is that
defenestration.
I see.
Yeah, this is a winner, dude. This is a fucking killer splash page. Like, fantastic. Torment is such a great visual, bros. I mean, like, I love his, like, weird, like kind of like, what do you call them? Gladiator shoulder pads, almost. And his weird gladiator, like, belt, almost. Like, I just think he has such a great look, dude. Out of the Malcolm era, he's definitely one of the stronger visuals.
Oh, I see what you mean by gladiator. Yeah, they are very Roman legion armor-like.
Yeah.
Leather armor with the strips, rather.
For sure.
You know, I'm still kind of ruminating on the Bronze Man. Did we ever talk about Erik's cover for 264?
No.
That had At Last All His Secrets Revealed, the story of Paul, and it has
I'm
the
pretty
Bronze Man
sure
on the
we
cover?
did talk about that. I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before, but I'm pretty sure we talked about it.
Yeah, I think we did talk about it, because I was like,
I could check our timestamps. Let me go do that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's fine. That was another reason why I thought Bronze Man could show back up again, because he's on that cover.
Well, I
Right.
think it's like going to be a flashback issue, or at least a flashback
I think
story.
so too, because it everything looks like parts of his life, but just because he's on the cover just makes me think, there's a possibility or something.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Craig. Like, the thing is like, that absolutely was, like, just in the back of my head. Because I was thinking, goddamn, dude, what a crazy bait and switch to have Bronze Man be on the cover. And, of course, we're all thinking flashback because of the accompanying text.
Right.
But then if, like, Bronze Man showed up at this wedding and ruined Paul's wedding, like, goddamn, dude, what a bait and switch.
Definitely been fooled before.
Right. And will be again.
I can't verify it because an image search doesn't actually bring the cover up, because I think it's only on Facebook, but I think we talked about it in the Ant episode.
Gotcha.
You know what? We're talking about it now, baby. We're talking about it now.
Oh, wait, no, not the Ant episode, the North Force episode.
Yeah, I think you're right, because we pointed out Zeke with his weird helmet.
Right.
But anyway,
yeah.
I don't want to throw it off. It's just making. I was like, I remember seeing Bronze Man again. I couldn't remember where, and it was that cover.
Guys, I gotta ask. This feels like a good place to mention it. How do you think Torment's voices sound, knowing that they're different? Compare them to something for the listeners. Good voice versus bad voice. How do you hear them as you read them?
I hear a feeble voice for the white one.
Mm-hmm.
Shy, feeble, and the fucking... I'm so sorry, Torment followed you home. I couldn't stop him.
Right.
See, I kind of hear a normal human voice.
Ooh.
Just he's not really enfeebled at all. It's just, it would just be like a normal person's voice. Whereas the red one is more just angry.
You ready for my picks? I hear, coming out of the white voice, Piglet from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, I can see that.
And coming out of the red one, Freddy Krueger.
Out of the red one, I feel like it's more of a Ben Grimm, New Yorker.
That was Torment's mother, our mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Private homes are off limits. How do you like that logic? Everybody knows it. It is funny if you think about it. You really don't see that at Savage Dragon, do you? People getting attacked in their private home. Well, Frank, never mind.
Yeah,
Dude, there's someone busting through Malcolm's house every other issue.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I saying? Like, I'm lying. Like, what the hell am I talking about? Yeah, you're right. Like, Malcolm gets, like, attacked all the time.
Guys.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we talked about the cover to 264. Because that's the Bronze Man cover. I think we missed it.
This just in, breaking news.
Breaking news from June 14th. Yeah, based on the timestamps on the FINcast website, I'm pretty sure we did not talk about it, because we would have had to talk about it during the Ant episode, and it's not in the news items.
Which Savage Dragon one is that?
Savage Dragon 264.
264? I'm bringing it up, baby.
It's an amazing cover.
Oh my god, well, let's take 2 seconds and talk about it.
Here, I'll grab the link and send it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
At last, all of his secrets revealed.
It's a great...
Remember, we did talk... I don't know if we talked about it.
We've talked about it, but I don't
but
think we talked about it on air.
Because it even, like, doesn't show his mechanical arm. You know, it's like...
Well, it's in shadow.
Yeah, so we're like, did it grow back and he doesn't want to show it? Or...
Craig, you're a genius, dude. That's how I know we did talk about it, because his arm's hidden, and then his arm's hidden when he's throwing the punch at Bronze Man. And even when, like, William's coming up out of his chest, his arm's hidden. So it's like, yeah, dude. Absolutely, we talked about this.
Well, I always took those things as like flashbacks. Like
I think we talked about it in. I think we talked about it like among ourselves before we did a retro.
Oh, maybe we did.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
It's good though. It's a good ass cover, and I am looking forward to the story of
Bronze
Paul like
Man's
crazy.
nose bothers me.
The hog nose.
I don't like him having a nose. But yes, there's a bunch of weird characters on it, like Zeke in a mask and like Red Rock and
and Joseph Strange in his like Magnus robot fighter dress.
He's good point about that. But
that's perfect.
Man, it would have to predate Magnus is like from the 50s.
He's like a key, right?
Yeah,
he's got those sweet Buccaneer boots too.
Yeah, he's a mix.
His little tunic. I think they call it a tunic, right?
He's definitely got some Luke Cage Power Man in him, too.
It's not a dress, it's a tunic.
With the huge pop collar, like enormous. Yeah, what's funny is out of all of them, he's the only one that looks like whack as a motherfucker. Like, the rest of them look fantastic and kind of, like, timeless. Well, I mean, geez, look at Dragon right up front. What the hell am I talking about? With his big D on his chest.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
Still looks cool.
He looks cool, but, I mean, I'm saying that, like, I think those two are the only two that kind of look busted.
Oh, come on. Sergeant Marvel. He's such a weirdo.
Oh,
I love him, but he's such a weirdo.
He's like Cockroach Batman.
Dart's kind of a squiggle, but I kind of dig her, like, original
More
costume.
70s looking.
Yeah.
And, Rock looks like the villain guy from Invincible.
The cement guy, right. Forget his name.
Boulder or something.
Crust suit.
Yeah, right. The stone crust.
All right, now all of our listeners have disappeared because we just jumped to a cover that we forgot to cover.
Right, let's get back to the important thing with the lettering.
Yeah, who won the lettering battle?
Spread. Well, I guess it comes down to, do we prefer Mama in red or Mama in black?
Right?
Mama more of a regular font, and Mama is more
I'm going to be honest. I don't like the colored letters as much as the black ones. So I got to give it to Rus.
Same.
Well, I'm going against you guys, but you did give the 2 votes, so Rus wins that one. I like, obviously, as we've mentioned before, Torment's like jaggedy word balloons on Rus is way better. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're going to, try to throw something in for some emphasis on a double-page splash, I'll always go graphical. Even if I don't love the Mama per se, and I don't, I think that, like, also, too, the, like, kind of burst effect that Jack used is not as good as the one Rus used.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me, too, because I'll be honest, I almost, like, every time I look at the page, I don't think I even see the Mama. because the jaggedy word balloon I don't think stands out as well.
Yeah, I think it could have gone harder.
Because it actually gets lost in the glass shards. It almost seems like it's more glass shards.
Yeah,
maybe I'm overthinking it.
No, I'll agree with all that.
Whereas the Rus one is more irregular.
So Rus wins that lettering battle.
Battle.
Let me ask you, bros. This is a really, I think, awesome page. Am I wrong of is this wrong for my brain to evoke a Gwen Stacy moment?
Oh yeah.
So were you guys getting that too as you read this?
Moderately.
I was scared for Maxine is what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm always scared for Maxine. She's very small and toothpicky.
I have to be truthful. I wasn't scared for her. I was expecting her to be saved. There wasn't anything in me like, oh my god, this is it.
I just thought, bro, what if she snaps her neck? I was like, is he going for a Gwen Stacy thing?
It's okay. She's immortal.
What do you think of the coloring on this page?
Okay, I want to talk about this after we're done talking, so we don't start this out. But I got to talk about Erik Larsen long bombs some point at the end of this episode because I've been having thoughts and I want to put them out in the world.
Nice, dude. I'm always up for a long bomb talk. Craig, you said the coloring, and bro, I totally agree.
You totally agree with what do you think about the coloring?
I think it's fucking great on this. The way each speed line is and every panel is a different color.
It definitely pops.
Pops like a motherfucker, dude. Look at Malcolm is when he's sinking down, the little white spatter effects. It's so good. It's so good.
All right, what do you think on the lettering?
Well, I think what it comes down to is, do you like Black Malcolm or Red Malcolm? Hey, man. It comes
down to more than that for me.
Oh, well, lay it out there.
I like the HNHA, the more understated.
You like it understated?
Yes. In terms of more just lettered. Because I feel like the Malcolm's a scream. I feel like when you do something like I understand he's throwing her, but it just, I don't know.
I have to agree with Craig on this one. I think it understated is better.
You like it understated, both of you.
I also just think, I don't think red just reads very well. It just seems kind of muddy.
I am losing again. I preferred both the Malcolm and the I preferred that to have some action and emphasis. I think Oh God being played subtle is good contrast. But hey baby, it's 2-3. That's why this works so good. So that's another one for us.
I gotta say this is some incredible super aim.
Yes,
tossing
dude,
her from the street into the bed. That's almost a 90-degree turn.
I love it, dude. Well, it's an arch, like a toss, like a basketball. But it's dude, what a fucking... And into the bed, dude. Incredible.
Those dragons have super aim.
And she gets back up there before he hits the car.
It's awesome. I thought that action sequence of him, fucking saving her, fucking... he jumps down and, throws her up. Think about how crazy. Somebody drops your loved one and you just fucking jump down and throw them back up before they could even hit the ground. It's awesome, dude. I think it's a great showcase of super aim. I think it's fantastic. I loved it.
And I also, here's the thing, I do like Torment coming down feet first.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome too.
It is slightly unclear. Well, it's not unclear because obviously he's falling, but the way he's posed is he's floating, and you don't get Torment landing feet first with an impact in the next panel, so it kind of loses some of the impact you'd expect. If he landed on Malcolm's chest or he landed on the car after Malcolm rolled away, if there was just him hitting the ground both feet, I think it would be more impactful with this floating in the air look.
Totally agree.
I love that Erik's still using these playful panels, 90-esque.
Oh yeah, the
smudgy.
Yeah, totally, 100%, like, second that, Craig. Also, it's really awesome, just the contrast of, like, again, like, Maxine, like, landing in the bed all gentle, and Malcolm smashing into the car.
Right.
Like, it's so good, dude. Like, he just super sacrificed his own self. Not that he's really getting hurt here. But, like, he lands, like, smashes into that car all hard, and, like, she's just falling into a bed.
So
just the thought of, like, the angle, so they're not both falling on the same side. It just,
right.
You know what I mean? The contrast, the thought to put into that.
Yes, dude.
Because if they were both landing the same way, it would just look weird. It just would, you know, even though it doesn't seem like it should. From a design standpoint,
there's almost an action like line to it because she got tossed one direction, and he lands the other direction.
100% intentional, my bros.
Yeah.
It's following the action. It's like when you show a guy rearing back with his right hand, you don't show him punching with his right hand in the opposite direction. You show him punching from right to left in the next panel to really sell that motion. And that's what Erik's done here, dude. Jim, that's what's so crazy about he so thoughtfully nailed the action, the physical action of Malcolm throwing her away from the direction he was going, and then to show Torment coming down but then not show any real impact in the car. It's like, oh, dude.
But the real question is straight runch or curved runch?
Curved.
I think curved is also better.
You know what?
But I also kind of like the jagginess of Rus's with the double exclamation points.
It's so funny because I am super going in the opposite direction on you, bros. Like, I love the runch of Rus's so much better, but I love the a lot better on Jack's. So,
right.
Jack,
in this case, in this case is a good a good example of the being black letters rather than red. I think if the on the other page was the same, it would have been better. But that's
so Jack takes that one.
Yes.
Well, my dudes, a sight that I have personally been dying to see for 30 years. Alex getting married.
That's a good panel of Alex, though. It's drawn really well.
It is, dude. Like, her expression, and, like, she's aged, but, like, she's still, like, pretty, and she went with Angel's, like, more, like, extravagant dress, and, oh, dude, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This is so great, dude. It's like, I've been waiting for this bitch to get a happy ending for decades. She's getting it. You know what I mean?
Here comes Bronze Man. Laser
out of the
beam
sand.
right through, severs her in half.
And poison gas.
So it took me a second to figure out why Paul was looking at Angel and she was like shrugging, but it's because Malcolm's not here.
Yeah, he's looking for Malcolm.
Yep. He's like, where's my son?
The grandkids.
My quote unquote son.
Where's my non-son? What do you guys think? Is there anything in the facial language of the Janies? Like, you think there's some future marriages up ahead for these guys?
Seems probable.
Gotta say. Feeling like there's love in the air,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those pairings that you've been kind of waiting for a long time. Yeah. But at the same time, it's also the easiest pairing, and that may not be the most interesting. Because they're twins. Well, they're twins, and they're doppelgangers. So they're made for each other.
Alexandria Wild.
that one Janie twin definitely is way into that nose ridge. You can tell. Of course, she has no nose. She just likes noses.
She just thinks it's awesome. This motherfucker's got extra nose. Yeah, that's good Angel too, by the way. Like the good Angel, like expression.
So,
yeah.
On this page, Rus makes the cardinal sin of having bubbles go off the page.
Yes, he does.
What's up with all of a sudden, like, the tails all change?
Don't like it. Don't like it.
I don't like that either.
It is just for this page. You're right.
Yeah,
Because it's a serious situation. So those tails got a curve.
those angular, like the way they like shoot down and then shoot off in a big sweeping curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Got to go with Jack.
Gotta go, Jack.
I'll agree to make it unanimous.
That's a three-peat for Jack, dude. One last thing. I'm going to bust Erik's chops. As good a job as he did on Alex, and I love it. As good a job as he did on Angel's face, and like even Paul looking over his shoulder, I like. Like, there's so much good stuff in here. How dare you, sir, not have a little like table with drinks or some balloons somewhere? I know it's
That's
a beach
for the
wedding.
reception, dude. This is
where's
just
like the
the
little
wedding.
hutch that you have at beach weddings with like the flowers on the lattice work, whatever it's called.
A little arch.
Yeah.
Let's do it, bro. Where is that stuff? Come on, man. All right. Just saying. I'm gonna bust. That's it. Just want to bust his chops.
They clearly went with the budget priest.
He couldn't even afford hair. Goddamn bald bastard. Guys, I've been waiting to say for this next page. I've been waiting to say this ever since I read this. You ready?
Go.
We
You
get
don't
the
got
debut.
the guts.
We get the. That's good. We get the debut of Malcolm's body sausage.
Has it never happened? Come up before?
It's viscera, dude. Are you kidding me? Look at that big like entrails.
That's
Just
gross.
they're slopping out, dude.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is. He's getting fucking choked with his like long hot dogs. Love it.
Man, Torment has got to be strong as shit.
Fuck yeah, dude. Brutal. Just die already.
I love
So
like
good.
just he's just choking him with his entrails.
It's so
And then his mom comes. The cops haven't made it or anyone there, but the mom tracked him down.
Yeah, Mrs. Torrance, real gumshoe. She knows her boy.
Tommy, what are you doing?
Oh, Tommy, you were making progress.
You think she sewed his Legionnaire's uniform?
Made his little gladiator costume.
His little leather wrist cuffs.
His little hat. My mom made this costume.
So who's got the best Doom?
Ooh. See, now this is a lettering showcase because we got multiple sound effects.
I'm pro Curve Doom.
Mhm.
I'm for Jack, and I'm pro. I like Russ's squid better.
Uh-huh.
So
I
it's,
kind of like
it-
Jack's squid because it's all bubbly and gross.
It is gross, isn't it? It kind of sells like a guts kind of look.
I think it looks. A
I
little
don't
bit, a
like
little
the
too,
cack.
Yeah,
I don't like the cack.
The red cack is the only red cack, and
I don't like that.
with the
I
little.
like it in black.
Yeah, me too.
It's got to be like a small like it's got to be like again. I feel like that should have been more understated. Like,
Yeah, I
like
agree.
how
Make that cack small.
you got a small cack.
Got that small cack. Ladies love the small cack.
An understated cack.
You know, my boy, he's had a real hard life. He's had to deal with a small cack.
Cack
Better
aside,
than a red cack.
Cack aside, I got to give this one to Jack for that big Doom. I think it works better.
I love the Doom with little lines on the bottom.
Yeah, me too. It's weird because I'll agree. I'll totally give this one to Jack because the Doom with the lines and then the squid's kind of like guts, It's kind of like...
I don't know. The squid to me just kind of looks like balloon animals.
I'll tell you what I like, Jim. You ready? But Russ does it too, so it's weird. But I like that the squid is unique amongst the other sound effects in the entire issue.
I agree.
It's just I like that it's soft and squishy like guts.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something
Anytime-
about Russ's is just seems more visceral to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
It's
the
good.
way it's kind of shot out, like
Although Jax does go off the panel, which I do like.
Yeah, but that breaking of the panel with the S, so nice. I'm gonna give love to the colorist too, bros. Look at that entrail. Look at the blood.
Oh yeah,
splatter
that's
coming.
real good.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's so nice. And then look in the last panel, like the blood stains on Torment's hands and knee. Oh, it's so good. And Malcolm's face is spattered. Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
This is everyone working in concert to do their best job. Art, letters, and colors, just singing a fucking orchestra, baby. By the way, I'm sorry, but Mom, what are you doing here? It's so funny. As you're choking a guy with his own guts.
I think the only problem with it is that obviously it's supposed to be the redhead saying it, but you don't see the redhead in the panel. So now it looks like Torment saying it, and Torment doesn't talk.
But in counterpoint, in both letterers gave the word balloons their own unique shape.
Right.
So you should, by this page, know who is saying what.
Right.
I'll forgive it. Question.
Yes.
I feel like we've seen Malcolm do the old double axe handle.
No,
It's
we've
good.
seen somebody else.
Oh, okay. You're going to lay it on me. Okay. What's the reference? Because I know, from this point on, I know it's Reference City, baby.
I just sent you guys something on Facebook Messenger. We'll wait and let the audience see if you guys get your reaction to that.
All right. Classic.
I knew that's what that was. Dude.
Wow,
Okay.
this is more direct reference than I remembered.
Can I tell you that is one of my favorite dragon faces of all time? Like the one where he's just in the pool.
So for the listeners, the next 2 pages of 260 where Malcolm's smashing Torment's head and then kind of passing out is direct reference to, or even, I don't know if it's shadow boxed or whatever. I don't think it's dead on. Like, the poses are a little different.
Oh, good example here in the first panel with Malcolm doing the double axe handle here. His legs are in a completely different position because, originally it's a little bit awkward, whereas this one it makes a lot more sense.
So it's from Savage Dragon miniseries 2, where Dragon's fighting Super Patriot, kind of does the double punch on Super Patriot, but has lost so much blood that he ends up passing out. But it's almost panel for panel.
It's so good.
Well, it's definitely panel for panel, but it's not necessarily I don't think it was Lightbox. I think he did it from Eyeball, which to get things more accurate, as they currently are, Malcolm's fin, because whoa boy, that early fin, it sure is. You can tell why so many artists have trouble with it when you got that dragon holding his guts in panel. That fin is not 90 degrees to the forehead. Many segments.
Yeah, you're right. They if they were Googling these, it explains a lot of wrong fins.
Yeah, these are the images you're going to see.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my God, Craig, thank you for this. Thank you for this because
even the sound effects, the wham.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. Why not homage the sound effects?
Right.
I mean, they both do their own thing, and in my opinion,
they use the same sound.
They do. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's in the script.
Right, yeah, no, all the sound effects are, I'm sure, in the script. But I'm saying Erik uses the same sound.
Oh, that's true. It is wham wump. Wump again.
Yeah, it's awesome. If dear listener, if you can, pull up your digital file, pull out your issue, whatever you do, but just compare these because it's just a really great contrast. Like you were saying, Dragon in the old panels holding in his guts, but Malcolm's fucking guts are out. His intestines are out-testines because And it's just crazy. It's crazy that, like, I don't think we've seen anybody get strangled with their own guts. Have we? This feels new. You know, it's funny because it's like an homage to, like, sequence, but at the same time, like, just the level of ultra violence is just, it's another place. So, like, Malcolm's just side ripped open. So
yeah, I mean, the
brutal.
original in Savage Dragon 2 was pretty brutal, and then this is just one-ups it with his intestines wrapped around his neck.
Yep. And even the little heads, like, if you look up by Malcolm's fists, there's just, like, fucking chunks flying off of them.
Yeah, they're getting curly and mowed. You know, the heads clonked together.
Uh-huh.
So,
Curly and mode.
are we assuming that Torment's done? Put another
I can't,
check.
Because we said we've seen it grow back, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
we
but this is a
totally
little
have.
bit more intense because Malcolm has not killed the worms. He's crushed his frickin' forehead.
I don't believe it. I don't believe he's dead, dude. Like Craig said, we've seen the worms get fucked before.
I think it's just the worms getting smashed, honestly.
Yeah. I think he might be brain dead for a minute, but those worms will grow back, as we've seen.
He's too cool a character.
Yes.
But
I'll say I
this is
hope
Savage
not.
Dragon.
Yeah, true.
I guess they weren't lightning punches. I'd probably be more inclined to believe he was dead if they were lightning punches.
Hey, yeah. If ever there was a time for lightning punch to the head, right?
I think he was too weakened.
Oh, good point. Good point, Craig. Fuck, you're right. Yeah, because, dude, he passes out in like a second here. Ah, it's good. I'm glad to talk to you guys with this shit because I think of stuff and I'm like, you just immediately put it in its place. Question: I can't move this. This letter battle is like really close. Starting on the Wham page, who are you giving it to?
Gotta give it to Jack. I just prefer
Same.
these. I just prefer these curved, follow the motion sound effects.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's a shame too because Rus went classic.
He did.
And I love classic, but I just think that Wham is awesome. I will like slam him Jack a little bit for. I think his wump is stickerish.
Yes.
I feel like you really want to go thicker on those borders and like make it look like art. You know what I mean? But that Wham is perfect. That Wham is great. Now, all right. So you're both giving it to Jack. What about the "This Can't Be Good" page?
Again, I think I prefer the curved wump that follows the action. I think it's just you could follow your eye follows from Malcolm falling over, landing on the ground. I think it just kind of works a little better.
I would say that, but I think the speech bubbles in the first panel.
Oh yeah, the
Malcolm's
groggy
weakened state.
the groggy speech bubbles. Good point. I think I got to agree with Craig. I think it does kind of tip it into Russ's direction.
As a three-peat, I am also agreeing that Rus gave the attention to make them weak. I'm just agreeing. Rus made Malcolm sound weak before he fell. The curved wump I like better, but the weakness as he passes out is very good. Yeah, I love also too, guys. Just like to talk about the actual comic itself too. I love this panel of Malcolm with just his goddamn guts, like just hanging out and like the blood just pouring and hitting the floor. Oh, it's so good. And Craig, you were talking about like on the splash page, the way the cross hatching's like coming off the corner.
Yeah.
Like he does that here in that first panel with Malcolm to great effect.
I gotta criticize Iliopolis though.
Oh?
On that second page, putting Alex coming in yelling dragon and putting it over top of the wump
Yes.
kind of ruins the wump. You
Yep.
can barely
Wump
tell what
sound
it
effect
says.
is kind of wonky anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. VVUI VIP.
It was early days. No one knew what they were doing. It was the Wild West.
Yeah, digital, not a thing. It's a thrill, dude. Like, when I was a kid, I just want to say, I know it sounds funny to be so hyped over an homage, but it's a self-homage. And, like, when I was a kid, legitimately this moment, when Dragon just, like, fucking just passes the fuck out in his own pool of blood because he's just been cut up too much.
He just looks dead.
Yeah, I got to tell you, as a kid, this shit hit me so hard because obviously I'd never seen anything like that with like Superman or Batman or any, just like fucking knock the fuck
it looks
out.
like a murder scene.
Right. Yeah. So to see it homaged here in 260, I was just like, oh, I love it, dude. Love it. And I think it's a little comical to compare the two where like Miss Torrance is filling in the place of Alex.
Right.
And
Why,
being like,
why
and
isn't
for-
she shouting Tommy and covering up the wump?
And for Malcolm to say, this can't be good, that's funny, dude. Like, that's kind of funny to me.
Somebody on Twitter today, someone posted a GIF of like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. That scene where Spider-Man gets punched by Green Goblin, and he like flies through like a bunch of debris and stuff. And someone was making a comment that if that was shot today, Spider-Man would get up and say, "Well, that happened." Like that would be a negative.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't like that sense of humor, so yeah, I'm okay with that joke.
And how is this can't be good, not that though?
Because that happened is like when you say, well, I guess I'm a prisoner for reasons. It's like, you can't just, that's not good comedy. It's funny maybe like once or twice, but like to treat it as a style of comedy. Now, this can't be good is funny because it's like, obviously having your goddamn guts in a noose around your neck is obviously not good, but like this can't be good is funny. It's funny because he's just like saying something in an understated way when he's in a ridiculously violent situation.
Right.
Well, that happened to me is not the same as this can't be good. What a particular conversation that just was.
Well,
No,
that
it's-
just happened.
So, last page, Jim, I thought you were promising us a big closeout here with this.
What?
In the letter battle.
Oh, right. Well, no, I'm just saying that when it all started, I thought for sure I was going to be, team Rus, just based on that first page. But in the end, I think ultimately Jack wins out for me.
Okay.
And I think part of that does come up in this page. I just prefer Jack's next issue box more.
Same.
So you guys are giving it to Jack, right?
Well, we haven't really talked about what's going on the page, but I am, yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the page, and then we'll get to the results. Hey, man. Like, let me first say, I'm always going to stop and appreciate Maxine. And I think she's looking cute as hell here.
Well, she's still wearing her wedding clothes.
Of course. Yeah. Had to rush and get her man to the hospital. I appreciate that Erik is still keeping the random, thick, fat-ass borders in play.
Yep.
Like, I like that. I like just as the same as we were, like, praising the rough, like, 90s borders. Like, I like these thick, colored, random borders, too. And I also like the gag of, at first, maybe you don't know necessarily who she's talking to.
Right.
But by the end of the page, you absolutely know who she's talking to.
Well, she
I thought
says
it
it was in the news, Angel.
Oh, does she? I'm a moron,
She does.
guys.
And also she mentions that Torment's dead, but she could just not know. For sure.
Well, she says he's dead, I think.
Right.
So that's a good little
that
out.
doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. I'm such an idiot. I thought that was a funny setup or whatever, but
Well,
yeah,
it is.
she totally
I
says
mean,
Angel.
there is a joke at the end. I mean, she says, "I'll make sure to give it your best."
I still was like, I was admiring something that didn't happen.
Right.
Hey, Paul, I'll give it your best.
You're right. Oh my goodness, dudes. Yeah, so the lettering battle. You guys are going to be
Did you
shocked.
tally it up?
I did. I got my tick sheet right here.
Is it a tie?
And the winner is
It's Jack.
by 1 point. Rus.
Really?
Yup. And dudes, you guys literally had them neck and neck on like the Wham page, and then like it just totally came through, and Rus like won that last one. So yeah, or no, Rus didn't win that last one. Like Jack was way behind, and then like fucking just came up like crazy. But there were 2 no contests. And yep,
it definitely reflects my feeling on this issue in terms of the letters. Like, I just think that I would be happy with either.
Yeah.
When you compare both of them, it's kind of just nitpicky things.
Right.
Yeah.
They're both excellent at what they do.
Yeah, 100%.
And we'd be lucky to have either.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, we're talking like we're some kind of lettering, like, geniuses or aficionados, but, like, bro, they both did an awesome job.
Yeah,
no, but listen, I mean...
If we didn't have 2 to compare, we wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But I think just even reading Savage Dragon and seeing the best letterers take on this book is really giving me an appreciation of a letterer. Before Savage Dragon, or not even before Savage Dragon, before I really even started talking about it, talking it through with you guys, I didn't appreciate lettering as nowhere near as much as I do now, or at least I didn't realize how much I appreciated it.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, it totally does. And it's fun to look at 2 different guys. Like, this is such... When you talk about great experiments in the book, I mean, I don't know if you call this so much an experiment. I don't know, maybe. But it's one of kind of the cool, fun things that aren't necessarily something to do with the plot of the story, but just artistically, like, that I really enjoy.
It is a, if not an experiment, because it isn't really an experiment. It's more of a... Normally, I would expect
like artistic choice.
You would just have 2 people do a test run, whatever one you like more, you just run.
Right.
But in this case, because Erik's doing the 2 cover thing, he's got an opportunity to print both.
Right.
So, it's kind of a unique opportunity just to see 2 different letterers letter the same book. Give the collectors a little something extra to, a little extra value in buying both. And it's something very few, if anyone, has done before. So, there you go.
I agree on all points, and I'll just add that I think I probably said it in the past, but Savage Dragon is definitely like a cartoonist's comic.
Right.
And it's a chance for you, like the experimentation and the different things you see in this book, you just don't see in other books. Like you said, like nobody's, like if this was some other book, they would just pick a letterer off, nobody would ever know. And they would just like maybe have them do like 1 or 2 pages as a sample and then just go with the guy they liked out of those 1 or 2 pages. Here, Erik paid 2 different guys to do the entire book and then put it out there for us all to see. And it makes for just something cool and unique. Like, it was really fun talking over this issue with you guys just to see these 2 things. And whereas I'm not double dipping for the 2 issues based on just their cover,
right.
I'm definitely double dipping on this one because I like this like lettering contrast. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I really like it.
Agreed on all fronts.
Before we move to the backup, how you guys feeling about this issue overall?
I think if Erik struggled with this, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Maybe even impossible to tell.
Yeah. This was a good issue.
Yeah, I enjoyed everything about it. I mean, the action is, up there. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. I mean, look what we got. Like, entrails and Torment is such a great villain. I love him. I mean, I don't think there's enough rogues that Malcolm have that stand out for me compared to, like, Dragon with all the Vicious Circle guys. But Torment is one of them.
Yeah.
The backstory going on, I talk about this every episode, but I really enjoy having Paul in the story. I think he brings a lot to the book in terms of just another kind of character that plays off of Malcolm and switches things up. I love the tension between the 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least just on Malcolm's side of things. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And with Dragon, we're getting a lot of these characters either coming back or new characters. So like Joseph Strange or, what's his name, William coming back, Alex more in the picture. I don't know. I'm really enjoying post 250.
Yeah. It really feels like the Malcolm era like really found its footing.
Yeah. I think so. Like I think that Erik had always talked about kind of Paul being like the mentor role and in the picture, and then he just kind of killed him off. And I'm glad he brought him back, because I think, like you said, it's just really gelling, like having Paul.
Yeah, totally agree. I think Paul was the special sauce the book needed, and this issue is a fantastic showcase of how Malcolm's absolutely the lead. Like 100% the star, but Paul,
and that's what I
great.
enjoy too. Paul is not taking over the book by any means. He's more of a side character, but he's still fun to see what he's going through, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming issues where it looks like they're going to be teaming up.
I'm sure it'll be a real bonding experience. I'm sure Malcolm will be calling him Dad any day now.
Sitting on his knee. Tell me a story. Dad.
Daddy.
Daddy, no. Never. Mm-mm. Don't call him Daddy. Don't do it.
Daddy-o.
Who's your daddy?
Pops.
Pops works.
Pops Accord.
Paul.
So let's talk about the backup.
Well, hold up. I don't believe we really talked about the backup last time, because we are planning to have its creators on next time. So I think we should hold off on going over the details on these backups until next time.
We did do that, didn't we?
I believe we did, yes.
It's been a long time, bro. It's easy to forget.
And if we did, and if that wasn't the case, we'll go over it again next time anyway.
So just for the listeners, we're planning on having Dave Kelly, who wrote the story, and I think Dean Haspiel, who I'm pretty sure owns... I know he owns the
Red Hook?
Red Hook character. I don't know about all the other characters in it, but it's heavily based on the Red Hook adventures.
Right. Well, the credits say written by Dave Kelly and from a story by Dave Kelly and Dean Haspiel.
Okay.
So artwork by Brett Hobson.
They've both agreed to come on and talk about their story. I think originally I thought it was 2 parts, and now I guess it's 3, right?
Yeah, I double checked. I believe I asked them, and they said it was 3 parts. So next episode will be the conclusion, and I figure we'll have them on for an interview segment, and we'll go over the whole thing with them, and just make a whole segment out of it.
Should be cool.
Should be cool. It's always kind of neat to have other comic creator perspective.
Right. And they're teaming up with the Red Hook teaming up with Dragon kind of makes it for a fun adventure.
Yes.
Plus, I remember there was a Red Hook backup in another issue of Dragon, and I was just like, whoa, awesome. So, yeah.
I'm hoping to catch up on some other Red Hook comics before we get to the next episode as well, to get a little better understanding. Because, I remember that backup with the Red Hook. I wasn't sure if that was like a reprint of a webcomic or where that came from, or if it was original for that issue. But it was...
Red Hook has like a whole series of web comics, and I think it was something that appeared originally as a web comic.
Right. So it'll be cool to get into that, but we're going to save it for now.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet.
So that's it. Anything else?
He's got to do his thing.
Oh, right. I also had another thing.
Lay it on us.
Long bombs. All right, so...
Oh, long bombs.
So,
yeah, dude.
Just real quick, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I've been thinking about it, and one of the quote-unquote, not complaints, but like things we've noted in the past is that the one thing Savage Dragon kind of is missing right now is like things seated that are just kind of there, that are, still going, which
arcs and long bombs
may or may not ever get like focus, but might, because they are interesting and they could mean something. And I think there's two that we often forget about.
Okay.
And one of them is Maxine Immortal, which happened way back, and we won't know that probably for years if things continue, in real time. Because again, you won't. Erik once asked, "When would you notice someone wasn't aging?" And they'd probably be in their 40s, and Maxine's still in her 20s. So who knows? But the other one, I think that has like real merit that might mean something is. Do you remember when Amy Dragon was born?
Mm-hmm.
And she was born human.
Yeah.
And then she turned into a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
I think that means something. I don't know what that means, but I think it means something. Whether or not she may one day be able to shapeshift between forms or maybe have additional powers of some kind. But I find that, something that has not been brought up since, and I'm curious if it actually has any meaning.
You're right, dude. Yeah, those are some, very legit long bombs.
I suppose the explanation could be is that she was in fact born human, but for whatever reason, she got dragon blood after she was born, which is why she turned into a dragon, because that's what happens when you get dragon blood. But for whatever reason, she didn't need freak out to survive, probably because of Malcolm's biology.
Yeah, I was going to say she's at least half chosen one.
Right, so it's just curious that for Jack and Tyrone, that happened in utero, but she got born. Of course, they have dragon toes, so they may have been born Krylons.
It's that strong-ass Maxine DNA is what it is, dude.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I still think it might mean something someday.
Yeah, man. I'm with you.
I can't think of anything else other than maybe the ugly Johnson twin thing, which I absolutely don't think is a thing. Craig.
I never will
feel
be.
attacked.
Craig.
Although I guess technically it did turn out to be a thing because they do have powers, but not because they aren't powers because he's ugly. They're powers because
not related to their ugliness.
We're gonna finally find out that the Seeker really wasn't just a robot.
Someday we'll find that out.
I got it. I know what the difference is. The ugly Johnson twin has a better personality.
I think you mean the bigger dick. That's why Janie was giving him the eye.
Maybe a notched dick.
It's shaped just like his nose.
The old notch dong. Oh my god, dudes.
All right, Raven, take us out of here. End this. Put us down.
Into the hornet's nest. Oops, sorry, Craig. Into the hornet's nest. Double the dragons, double the action. Malcolm Dragon teams up with Paul Dragon, his father from another reality, now equipped with a cyborg arm to take down the vicious circle once and for all.
Father from another mother.
Yeah, man.
Does it say now equipped with a cyborg arm? Did you include that?
That is copied right off the Image website.
Hilarious.
Now equipped with the cyborg arm, bros. He's Paul 2.0.
He's the bionic dragon.
You think Alex, so it's their wedding night, right? And she's like, no, use your robot hand.
Please skin me alive.
That's not how it works. And you know it.
It's just like getting fingered by a shit. I can't remember the word. Kitchen utensil. Chopping.
It's like getting pinched by a centipede tracking ball.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly that.
It's like it having a escalator in your hoo-ha. You know, the escalator pinch the shit out of you.
Yes, I got it.
There you go. Just saying. Thanks for listening, everybody.